My name is Janro and I work for SARS. So today I'll be presenting my takeaway on the advancements of rugby officiating and forward pass detection technology. So rugby is a game of precision and skill where the accuracy of officiating plays a crucial role in determining the fairness and integrity of the game. One of the fundamental rules of rugby is that a pass cannot go forward. However, determining whether a pass has gone forward or not is really challenging for referees and TMOs. So that's why today we'll be exploring technology that is revolutionizing rugby officiating with forward pass detection technology. So let's first look at some key challenges when it comes to detecting a forward pass. So referees face inherent challenges due to limited visibility of the field, the overall high speed of the game. Here you can see a photo of Brian Abana, who is racing a cheetah, just to show how fast rugby players are. And this is really hard for referees to keep up with them. And then the overall complexity of rugby rules. There are a lot of rules in rugby, and it's really difficult for just one person to enforce all the time. I myself consider myself a big rugby fan, but I always find myself asking my brother, like, what just happened or why was this a penalty? And then some other challenges are things like player momentum and different perspectives of and angles. Then heading on to another challenge is a term called relative velocity, and this is a this is something that occurs due to momentum. And even though it's something that states that the ball will always travel forward because the player is moving forward, and due to momentum, even though the passer is passing the ball backwards over his head like that, the ball will still travel forward due to momentum. So here in this example, I've indicated where the ball will be released by the passer, and then a few lines forward where the receiver will eventually catch the ball. So you can see, even though the receiver was behind the passer when the pass was thrown, the ball still ends up in front of where it was initially thrown due to relative velocity. Another example is what we're looking at is where instead of the passer keeping on running after the ball has been passed, the passer stopped dead in his tracks. I've indicated this again where the passer is going to release the ball, and then where the um, receiver is catching the ball. So here it's much more difficult to see if this was a forward pass or not because the receiver is actually in front of the passer in this situation. And I believe in a real world scenario, this can go either way. I think there are a lot of calls that has been gone forward passes or that has been called forward from this, even though due to player momentum and the momentum of the ball, this is still a legal pass. So human error and subjective interpretation can lead to inconsistencies in officiating, impacting the outcome of matches. So let's quickly look at why it is important to get these calls right. So to preserve the overall fairness of the competition and the good spirit of rugby, also to maintain player confidence, and to keep rugby a good spectating experience. Looking at some limitations of human referees, referees have a limited field of view, as well as they do still have subjectivity in their decision making. Referees, just like every other rugby player on the field at that time, run around for the entire 80 minutes of a rugby game, which causes them to suffer from physical fatigue, and it is hard to keep up with the speed of the game. And as mentioned before, the complexity of rugby rules is hard for one person to implement, as well as pressure from the crowd. Now, I know this is just one England supporter and you can't really be intimidated by him, but yeah, pressure from the crowd is a factor that plays into whether some calls are made. And then the impact of missed calls. If a if a try has been awarded due to an incorrect call on a forward pass, the entire outcome of the game can be determined, and this leads to player frustration, and it can also lead to controversies and lead to a bad spectator experience. Just look at all these dissatisfied fans. Yeah, bad calls can ruin a referee's credibility, and there can even be potential allegations for match fixing. So heading forward to the proposed forward pass detection technology, Sportable, which is a UK-based company, has introduced match tracker technology, and this is a groundbreaking solution to the challenge of detecting a forward pass. This is the co-founder of Sportable, Dr. Pete Hussemeyer, and he has recently left his position at NASA to pursue this forward pass detection technology. So here's an example of the charging port of the rugby ball, how the smart balls look like. And inserting a microchip into the ball and equipping it with an array of tiny sensors, the technology can precisely track the ball's movements. The match tracker technology utilizes tiny sensors to track the acceleration, rotation, as well as the pressure and position of the rugby ball. These tiny sensors each weigh just about a few grams and are recycled at the end of the ball's lifetime. Here's an example of what a recycled rugby ball looks like. Each of these balls are also charged via a cable. So Dr. Peter Sumer from Sportable has described this technology as tracking the ball in a 3D-like radar, providing real-time data on its exact position, spin speed, and changes of direction. Now, by analyzing this data, the technology can accurately infer the angle of the passer's hands as the ball leaves, distinguishing between passes that have been between flat passes and those traveling forward. So gyroscopes measure the spin of the rugby ball, which is crucial for understanding the ball's trajectory, and accelerometers, similar to those in smartphones, track the speed and direction changes of the rugby ball. Flight tracking radar and radio chips enable communication to sensors that are on the pitch side up to 20 times per second. So here is an example of what the charging stations for the rugby balls look like. And then to track the players' movements, each player is equipped with one of these sportable vests to track their movements. And then here's an example of the software interface where the referees, players, and coaches can view insights and look at data that has been collected throughout the course of the game. So continuous data collection by the ball's sensors provides, so real-time data collection by the ball sensors provides real-time insights onto its movements. And then advanced algorithms process this data to determine not only the direction of the passes, but also the angle of the passer's hands as the ball leaves, ensuring accurate officiating. This analysis allows for precise adjudication of forward passes, overcoming challenges like parallax errors and optical illusions. So looking at the fast data gathering of this technology, Sportable has partnered with AWS and Vodafone to take the amazing computing capabilities of AWS and put them at the edge of Vodafone's networks. And this provides delivering speed of application which has never been available before. And this real-time data delivery is very important for real-time data analysis by the coaches, the players in the stadium, and also fans around the world. The National Rugby League, which is the NRL in Australia, has been conducting trials on this technology, embedded balls, gathering data and assessing the accuracy and reliability of the forward pass detection. The technology's ability to distinguish between passes being propelled forward and those traveling naturally with momentum is key in its effectiveness in adjudicating forward passes. And refinement of this technology's algorithms and adjustments based on trial results will determine if this technology will be implemented in more elite rugby competitions like the World Cup or the Guinness Six Nations. Here is another example of what the software interface would look like for referees and players. And then here's an example of a kick test being performed on the rugby ball. So rigorous testing, including assessments of resilience against high kicks, and has been conducted, which ensures the ball's accuracy and reliability. And this was very important for something like a technology in a rugby ball, because imagine trying to create like a laptop that gets kicked every day by the world's most athletic men and women. Here is another example of a test that the rugby ball is being gone through. It's a compression test. And then the match tracker system is currently on trial in the United Kingdom in Premiership Rugby, as also mentioned before, the National Rugby League in Australia. And it is currently seamlessly being integrated into existing rugby officiating processes. Match officials have a software interface similar to the one on screen that is empowering them to view the ball's movements and make informed decisions. And then lastly, looking at the benefits of this technology, it introduces objectivity into officiating, providing more precision and consistency into officiating. And beyond just forward pass detection, it offers potential for applications in player data analysis and player training. And then lastly, this technology is really mobile, as you can see on screen. It's very effective for away training camps. And then lastly, that's my conclusion, and I'm free to open for any questions.